good morning, whatever time of the day it is where you are. Very happy to be here today and to also just talk to you very briefly. Today is October 1st, and I feel I should just do this very short video to have a conversation and to remind us three very important things that is happening today, October 1st. October 1st is interesting because three things have happened every October 1st that I'm always very conscious of and I celebrate. If you follow me on Facebook, you will have noticed that. One is that October 1st is the Independence Day for Nigeria. Nigeria's independence. Nigeria became independent in 1960, and so today is the Independence Day of Nigeria, and something to celebrate and to talk about. Congratulations to all Nigerians. I pray that Nigeria becomes better and becomes a dream of everyone. At the same time, too, it's also the day because there are other countries that also celebrate their independence today. For example, India, China's independence is also olden today. So for our Chinese friends, let me also wish you happy independence. Um, it's also important to mention the fact that Nigeria, like I said, became independent in 1960, so something to celebrate. That's one. The second thing I always try to do on October 1st, which is very important, is also the fact that it's also the International Day for the Elderly. The United Nations has designated October 1st for a day to recognize, respect, and honor the elderly in our community. And so I also want to celebrate every old person. By the elderly, I think the age they use is 65 years old, but each country defines what is called elderly. So I want to respect, celebrate every old person that is watching me. I pray that God will give you long life and you will enjoy your long life and be all that what God you want you to be. To be old is great. And I want to make an appeal to my HR colleagues who are here who watch this video to think about what do they need to do to help the old people that work in the organization. Ageism is a problem. Many organizations discriminate against people just because of their age. Some say they are too old, or they can't use a computer because they are old, but that's not really true. So let's remember October 1st is also the day to celebrate the older people and think about your organization and see what you can do to make it better for old people. The third thing, and this is very important, this particular year, October 1st, 2024, is the 100th birthday of one of my most favorite people in political leadership, former president of the USA, President Jimmy Carter. Now, many of you wondering, hey, why are you interested in President Jimmy Carter? One is a great man. President Jimmy Carter is a great one. He turned 100 years old today. Now, that's huge. To turn 100 years old is much. The average person does not turn 100 years old. Interestingly, for all the people who have turned over 100 years old, over 60% of them are women. So, for a man to turn 800 years old is a big miracle. And so I celebrate his life. I celebrate God for sparing his life. President Jimmy Carter is a model. He's a model, he's a gentleman. He has many uniqueness. One is the first US president to get to age 100. Two, is also the first US president to win the Nobel laureate after leaving office, because the other two that have won the Nobel Peace Prize won it while they're in the office, but he won it after he has left office. And he's also the US president that has a record of the longest marriage. He got married to his childhood sweetheart until she died last year. They had the longest marriage of all the presidents that we have had in the US. Now that's huge. That's a man to celebrate. Now, those are general things. But I'm a Nigerian, of course. I have other citizenships, but I'm a Nigerian. And as a Nigerian, President Jimmy Carter occupies a unique place in our history. Let me mention this. The first US president to visit Nigeria was President Jimmy Carter. While he was president, he came on a visit to Nigeria. Then General Olusegun Obasanjo was our head of state. First US president. Some data actually record that it was the first US president to visit sub-Saharan Africa. That's huge. We had great presidents before then. Nigeria was independent since 1960. Nobody decided to show up in my country except the good man called Jimmy Carter. Number two, and this is very, very important. Jimmy Carter has done work with his foundation called the Carter Foundation in my country. They have invested money, energy, and time in eradicating diseases, particularly river blindness. Actually, with the work of the Federal Ministry of Health of Nigeria and Jimmy Carter Foundation, river blindness is practically becoming non-existent in Nigeria any longer because of their time, their investment, and their resources in it. I had a distinguished privilege working for Chevron Nigeria Limited many years back, where I was in charge of supporting that same project. And I could see how the Carter Foundation was able to bless lives, were able to transform lives, was able to use the resources available to eradicate river blindness. They focus a lot on non-communicable diseases, and I remember last year about 3 or 4 states got to a different stage when it comes to eradication of river blindness in Nigeria. I think they also work on guinea worm, but they work on non-communicable or non-transferable disease. That's how this man has blessed Nigeria. And I will always remember to talk about education. President Jimmy Carter was the person that signed into law the law that created the Ministry of Education or the Education Department in the USA. That man made a lot of difference. What is very unique about this man is that he only served 1 term. He lost his second term election to President Ronald Reagan, and he lost badly. He lost badly. But one of the things I've also learned from this man is the way he has carried on in his life, serving humanity despite not being government. There are many people in government that wonder what they would do when they leave government. President Jimmy Carter has become a model to show us that you can do many things after you leave office. This man has spent time with his Carter Foundation. He has also been heavily invested in the Habitat for Humanity. Is a non-profit organization that builds homes all over the world, where they celebrate and they build homes for people. Now, so when you have people that do things like a President Jimmy Carter, those are meant to celebrate. Those are people to recognize for what they have done. When a man served and keeps serving and serves in my country, Nigeria, Jimmy Carter is from the USA and then invests in eradicating diseases in my country, it's something to celebrate. And then when I remember this man is a Christian, this man is humble, this man is a model of good behavior. He has stayed with his wife for a long time, never divorced, married one person till she died last year. Then that's a man to celebrate. So I ask you to join me to wish President Jimmy Carter a happy birthday. I also like to request that on a day like this, you can, if you believe in prayers, you can tap into that grace for longevity. What you honor, you attract. So if you honor a man who is celebrating his 100 years, you can use that to ask God to give you long life. So I pray that God will keep President Jimmy Carter. I don't know what are his own wishes, but I wish him all the best. I also wish we'll learn lessons from President Jimmy Carter. And I also pray for anybody watching this or that will watch it later, that God will grant you good life and prosperity. President Carter is 100 years old. You will stay long on heart. If you desire to be up to 100, God will grant you the desires of your heart. If you are struggling with a health challenge, and that man is a model of resilience too. He has been in hospice for over a year now. Most people don't stay that long in the hospice, but he has stayed there and God has kept him that long. So I pray whatever health challenge you are dealing with, because he had to deal with cancer at a point. He was moved to a hospital, but he's still alive and still there. I pray that whatever sickness, disease that is affecting you, or affecting your partner or your children, God will heal you. That sickness will not be the end of your life. And I also pray that our life will matter. How does a woman being leave office and win a Nobel Prize? I mean, when for example you are in office, everybody gives you recognition. Oh, you are this, you are that. But you left office and they are recognizing you. You are left office and God has enlightened your life that you break another record. You broke the record for being longest married president. You broke the record for the first president to make 100 years. When the Bible says, I will make your name great, I think those are ways God used to practically make people's name great. So I pray for anybody also watching, your name will be great. You will achieve records. Um, you will achieve things that people have not done before. The last thing I want to also mention is the question of, when do you rest? When do we stop making a difference? So think about this. This man is 100 years old. He has done more after he left office. So there could be somebody who is watching me who is thinking about retiring, or who is thinking about leaving office, or who will be retiring maybe in Nigeria, turning 60 or in another country, and he's wondering, so what will I do with my life after I retire? I say to you, there's a lot you can do. This man is a model that after work, after working life, after careers, after you don't more work in the office, you can still add a difference to people. I pray for those that are watching me that are retired, the Lord will bless you. You will have enough to do that will make you happy. So, again, let me remember the three people that we're celebrating on October 1st. One, we're celebrating Nigerians on their independence. Nigeria will be a delight. God will bless this country. This country will be great. Let's also remember China is also doing their independence today. So, celebrate the Chinese. Number two, I celebrate the elderly. Today is the International Day for the Treatment of, or is International for the Elderly. Any old person here, I pray for a prayer for you in Nigeria. That you pray in my language, Agbanya Dale, which means in my language, you will remain relevant to the end, just like Jimmy Carter. You will not spend your old age in sickness. God will keep you in perfect health, and it shall be well with you. And then the third is celebrating Jimmy Carter. I pray that the Lord will be with this man and he will continue to be an example. So thank you for joining me. It's just a time to do a shout out to all these three sets of people. And you know, it's quite a number, the number of people that are in that class, the elderly, Nigerians, and of course, President Jimmy Carter. We will always celebrate and God will always give us reason to rejoice. Thank you. God bless you. Yes, ma, I can see Mommy Jedidaya saying we celebrate Nigeria, China, and Jimmy Carter. I celebrate you too, ma. And I pray that this 100 years we are doing and celebrating this man, we will also do the same for you, ma. 100 years in health and strength and abundance. Thank you and have a nice day. And please remember, Nigeria is a blessed country. Nigeria is a great country. Let's say it. You may not look it, but it is. We can prophesy and believe so. Happy New Month and God bless.